Kabul fell, and we're going to face some challenges here at home because Kabul fell. The Taliban now is taking charge of Afghanistan's massive illegal drug operation. Much of the world's heroin is made from opium that is grown there. And the Taliban's new narco-state poppy business is alive and will likely fund the terror group, presumably for years to come. Some of those drugs feed right into the opioid crisis here in the United States. The U.S. has reportedly spent nearly $9 billion on our narcotics operations in Afghanistan since 2002. Washington Post op-ed warned Afghans' kingpins now control roughly 85% of the world opium supply. That's according to the UN. Like traffickers everywhere, the Afghan cartel will invest in chaos. It's good for business, and what's good for the Afghan drug business is good for the Taliban. So who are the leaders running the operation? Our next guest knows exactly who they are because he worked with them and tried to catch them, and what all this means for the U.S. and our allies. John SEAMAN, retired D.E.A. agent, joins us now. John, appreciate you being with us. For our audience who might not understand the disconnect between a regime that believes in fundamentalist Islam and drug trafficking, explain where the loophole is in Sharia law.
Well, it's not so much in Sharia law. It's at the, let me give you this explanation. When the Taliban was formed way back when in the late 2000s or the 1900s, or the 1980s, excuse me, it was funded by the Norzai family, Omar Mullah and whatever. That's where their funding came from, drug trafficking. So the difference between the Taliban and the FARC is the FARC kind of morphed into a drug trafficking organization, where the Taliban started out as a drug trafficking organization. They like to paint themselves as an Islamic under the Sharia law standpoint and lie to the world that this is all for ideology. But in essence, they're really just a criminal trafficking organization that are enriching their leadership and their followers from drug trafficking activities.
It's actually really sort of fascinating and scary at the same time. It's a criminal gang who's using this religious ideology. Where does it intersect in terms of their willingness to use violence? Is that why the willingness to use violence is so apparent in the Taliban?
No, they use the drug trafficking to fund their ideological movement under the Sharia law movement of being, telling the world they're an Islamic organization under Islamic theology, when in essence it's all coming from drug trafficking activities.
When you look at the pictures of the Taliban itself, it looks like a lot of these guys just came out of a cave. Many of them did, in fact, as they spent the past 20 years in caves fighting the U.S. military, and now they've taken this country over. They beat the Afghan army of 300,000 people. You hunted them, you surveilled them. It seems as though we have to give them a lot more credit than what their appearance is.
Oh, yeah, they're an organized group. They're a senior. Let me give you an example, Leland, so the public knows the whole story here. This was all documented in two major things. There was a book out called Ideology and Political Correctness, Trump's Reality, which is on Amazon. And then there was an article by Josh Myers of The Political in 2018 off the book, basically laying out the whole story here of how we lost the drug war to the Taliban in 2014. One of the points I'd like to make is this all could have been prevented if the Taliban senior leadership had been indicted in 2014 on U.S. narco-terrorism charges. But D.E.A. and D.O.J. were prevented from doing so in May 2013 when the Obama administration quashed the D.E.A. investigative and D.O.J. prosecution of the Taliban senior leadership. D.E.A. had done what back in when Obama in 2011 announced.
Why would they do that? Does it go back to what Ralph Peters was saying of sort of this misguided idea that we could make friends or make deals with terrorists?
No, this is naivety on the Obama administration. Let me give you the history. In 2011, when the Obama administration made the announcement to the world that they were going to do the drawdown with no preconditions out of Afghanistan and gave a timeline in 2014, it really put D.E.A. Kabul in a heck of a position, because that means they only had a couple years to do their homework to see what do we do to stop the Taliban from becoming using narco-terrorism against us. And so they put together a major operation called Operation Reciprocity in 2012, which was a review of all the DEA closed and open investigative files from when they were in country and past history all the way up to 2013.
Well, you know what I'm hearing from you, John, is it seems as though, in a sense, even if the Biden administration is right that the Taliban is not going to allow Afghanistan to be used as a terrorist base to attack the United States, and admittedly that is a huge if, but even if you grant them that, the fact now that they are going to be able to grow poppies and then export opium at will is going to have an enormous effect on the United States.
Well, you make a good point, Leland. And this is one of the issues that we, back in 2013, tried to get across to the Obama administration. And why are you ignoring all the intelligence and open media sources warnings for the last 10 years of the threat of the Taliban, if they took over the country, of turning Afghanistan into the first narco-terrorism state? Here's a question all you media sources should be asked, or reporters should be asking President Biden, is how does the United States recognize the world's largest drug trafficking organization for opium production and terrorism as a legitimate government of Afghanistan when they were the co-conspirators with Al-Qaeda in 9/11? That's the question that every reporter should be hammering home to President Biden. And here's the other point I'd like to...
It's a great point, and one, if you talk to the State Department, Mr. Price over there, the spokesperson, he says, well, if the Taliban is going to be good and recognize women's rights and on and on and on, then maybe we can have a deal with them and they'll be a legitimate government. John, great conversation. Thanks so much. Sorry we have to run. The political implications domestically for President Biden's debacle and horrific week when we come back.